First of all, I want to thank everyone for coming to this press conference and being a part of this moment of our history at Southwestern Oklahoma State University. Can't tell you how happy I am that we were able to get after this so early and we're able to hire a coach so quickly. So our goal was to hopefully get someone in place as quick as we could so they could hit the ground running. Recruiting is very important, especially this time of year, and that was our goal. Now, with that in mind, we didn't know if we could pull it off. When you're dealing with at this time, what we had was over 60 applicants to the point when we started interviewing, and then we were still receiving applications after that. So I'm pretty sure that it got over 70. Happened so quickly. But there's a few people I'd like to thank in the process of this thing. And first of all, I want to thank the media for being here, all you guys for showing up and helping us celebrate this hire. But I'd like to thank the committee. I couldn't ask for a better group of people to help us. And Kelly Litch came out of retirement to show me what to do and took the reins and did a great job. Of course, our staff with Todd Helton was on that. Brad Fleetwood, our golf coach, was a part of this as well. Doug Self was a part of the committee as well. And I got to tell you guys, we were working hard trying to go through a lot of applications and a lot of resumes in a short amount of time and to check references and do all the process that you have to do because we want to make sure what we did it the right way. And they just worked tirelessly to make sure this thing happened. I want to thank the administration for kind of being patient with us as far as missing meetings, missing appointments for opportunities to have interviews and these type of things that were going on in the process. And administration was fantastic and all the help that we received with them. President Butler and his staff. President met with each candidate that we brought in. And they got to learn a lot about rodeo and things like that. But he was so supportive through this whole process, and I can't tell you how much we appreciate him and how much we're privileged to have a strong leader such as Randy Butler as our president, and he did a fantastic job. Our HR department, because again, we got after this pretty quickly. We need to hit the ground running with our candidates and get them to work, basically, and for them to work with us so diligently to make sure that we're able to put somebody in place at the right time. We were able to pull that off as well. Our physical plant, I want you guys to think about this. Keys. Just think keys and think of how many keys you got to have to be a football coach and how many people you have to get keys out to and get them checked out. So, they were able to basically drop a lot of things and get after it right away and get us the keys that we need, and we're going to be asking for a lot more. But they also did a great job of making sure the rooms were prepared and when we took tours, everything was ready to go. So can't thank the physical plant enough for their help as well. Our athletic association is so important to us. Valerie Ferris is the president, and I can't thank them enough for all their support, not only with our football program, but also with all our other sports programs, and want to thank them and their way that they were involved with this whole process. We had asked them to meet our candidates and have lunch with them. They showed up to talk to them, and it was a great time to meet really people of our community. So we want to thank them for being able to be a part of that as well. I want to thank our coaching staff. Our coaches also took time out of their day to meet with each candidate. Also, our current coaching staff that was here to help the transitions happen relatively ease. So we can't thank all of our coaches enough for all their help during this process and the way that we went through this. I'd like to send a special thank you out to Coach Kokenauer for his willingness to announce his retirement so early. And he did that so that we could start looking for a coach and posting it and get ahead of everybody else. And I got to tell you guys, I made a mention to our committee at one time. We were interviewing on Monday, 2 days after our last football game, and I don't know if anybody else in the country was that far ahead, and had a lot to do with his willingness to help the team, and we can't thank him enough for his service and the things that he's done for us here at the Southwestern Oklahoma State University. Now I want to talk a little bit about our new football coach, Coach Chet Pobolish. Coach was one of the first applicants we received. He's been a lot of places. I'll go over that in just a moment. But when he came in for the interview, because of the references we checked and everybody we talked to was so high on him and at every level that we felt like he was a good candidate. And I got to be honest with you, the things that he talked about during the interview really made our committee stand up and think this guy's very special. And one was his commitment to hard work. He's ready to hit the ground running. There was never a question, well, I need time to adapt. I need time for this. I need time for that. His questions were like, we're going to do this, this, and this, and we're going to get after it. And you see that passion in him and his willingness to work. So we were very, very proud of that part of his talking, and also during his interview, also his organizational ability. Every question we asked him about system or whatever it might be, there was never hesitation. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. He knew exactly how he was going to do it, and we knew that he was well organized and ready to put a program together. He understands the D2 level, been at the level, was helped part of a staff that took him all the way to the national championship game at Delta State. So we know that he has that ability. He was at Missouri Western when we got him here. So he has that Division II level experience. Probably one thing for me especially that stood out was his concern about molding young men and their character. And, that's very important to us here at Southwestern, and it's very important to our department. Because these kids are under our care during the time that they are here. And yes, it's important that we compete. It's important that we win. But it's just as important for us to help mold these young people under our care and send them out into the world. And so that really impressed us. And then the last thing was family. He was so committed to not only his own family, but the family of the football program, and the family that we try to bring together as our department and our university. So his commitment to family was another big part of why he stood out amongst, like I said, over 60 applicants at that time. A little bio on Coach Pobolish: 17 years of coaching experience at the college level. Most recently served the offense coordinator at Missouri Western during the 2017 season. He has also coached the NCAA Division I level at Southeastern Louisiana University. Previously spent time coaching at the NCAA Division II schools of Delta State and Emporia State. Has coached 6 teams to a conference championship and 6 trips to the NCAA playoffs, including an appearance in the 2010 Division II National Championship game with Delta State. As a player at Emporia State, he was a 4-time All-Conference selection and a 3-time captain for the Emporia State team. He is married to his wife, Holly, and they have 1 daughter, Lauren. At this time, I'd like to introduce you to the 22nd head football coach, Southwestern Oklahoma State University, Coach Chet Pobolish. You bet. You can't keep that. Okay. Coach, also want to give you this. It's a bag, and it has every kind of a thing that you can want that says Southwestern in it. So,
thank you.
And then do we have a CAB group? Okay. We have our CAB organization. Would like to present you also with a bag of goodies.
I am Katie Warnick. I'm the Collegiate Activities Board here at Southwestern, Director-elect, and this is Parker Howell. He's an intern at the Dean of Students Office. We are just so glad to have you here, so welcome you to the Bulldog family. We'll see you at every home game. We have a booth there every home game, and so go Dogs.
Awesome. Go Dogs. Thank you. I want to first thank a few people. President Butler, obviously, for allowing me to have this opportunity, Coach Thurman, the hiring committee, my wife and my daughter. Without them, I couldn't do this. But we talk about just say a few things. We talk about what our program wants to be known for, and I think these are things that you'll hear me say over and over again. We want to be a team that is mentally tough. We want to be a team that's physically tough, and we want to be a team that loves to play the game of football. Those are things that we hope that you see every Saturday out on the field, things that we'll preach to these kids over and over again. We basically have 3 program goals that we're going to emphasize as well daily. It's win, graduate, and have fun. When I first mentioned win, a lot of times to the mothers when we bring them on recruiting visits, that they wonder why that we didn't mention education first. My philosophy is if we can teach these young men how to win in life and be good fathers and good husbands, then the rest of it becomes easy. So winning is our #1 goal. We're going to win in life. We're going to show up. We're going to win in the classroom, and we feel like if we can do that, we'll in turn win on the playing field. The next is graduate. They all come to school to graduate and to get a degree. It's our responsibility as football coaches to see that they get that done. We would not be doing our job if our kids don't graduate and get degrees and become productive citizens in society. And by doing that also, it contributes to our alumni. Those kids have a great experience and in turn, in the future, give back to our program. And the last thing we talk a lot about is have fun. The amount of time that these young men put into this and these coaches put into it, sometimes you're getting caught in the monotony of everyday practice. It's Tuesday practice. It's Wednesday practice. We have to remind ourselves to have fun. I think I've assembled a staff or in the process of assembling a staff that believes in those 3 things, but also believes that, we're going to have fun in the process. I learned from a guy a long time ago that it's okay to smile and play football. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to put a physical product out there. We're going to smile. We're going to have a good time doing it. So those are things that I believe in. Obviously I can talk in great lengthy detail about any of those things, but it all stems back to that and about creating good fathers and good husbands and good citizens in this community. So that being said, if anybody has any questions, I'd be glad to answer anything that you would have at this time.
Well, I've got to ask you, spot the ball everywhere. I want to know, what does that mean anyway?
Okay, spot the ball, it's all about us, is what I want to say. It's all about the Bulldogs. I don't care who we're playing, when we're playing. It could be Northwest Oklahoma, it could be the Pittsburgh Steelers. It doesn't matter. Put the ball down, we're going to play. It goes into more length of, I don't care if it's minus 10 degrees in Fargo, North Dakota, or 120 in the Sahara Desert. We're going to play, and that's the mentality we're going to have. We're not going to talk about the weather. We're not going to talk about our opponent. I say this a lot, but college football isn't always about not bubbles and tears. I mean, it's about yourselves and take care of what you got to do. And I feel if we can do that and concern ourselves with us and how good we can be, then in turn it'll show a good product. So that's what spot the ball means. It's put it down, we're going to play. Parking lot, practice field, doesn't matter. We're here to play. So.
You've been around a couple of the best Division II conferences there are in the MIAA and with Delta State. How does the GAC stack up in your first impressions? When
I was in the Gulf South Conference, a lot of the Arkansas schools, if not all of them, were in the Gulf South. So I'm familiar with those schools and the type of competition facilities that they have. It's comparable. Obviously there's challenges at every place. Being the first day on the job, I don't know what they all are, but one of the reasons why I was attracted to this job is because my familiarity with those schools and then familiarity with the region that we're in, the Midwest, being not from Emporia, but spending that amount of time in Emporia. So I know, Harding's holding their own in the tournament. Ouachita's made it. So, I feel that we should be able to compete with those teams on a yearly basis. We should be able to compete consistently for conference championships, and then once you make it to the dance, you just never know. So that's where we want to put ourselves in that position.
You bring a lot of experience from multiple D2 programs and even an FCS stop. How will that experience translate here at SWOSU, especially in your first venture?
I think we're all a product of our experiences, and I'll say that a lot, whether it's good or bad. It being 17 years before becoming a head coach is everybody that I've worked for, you take good things and you say, when I get my opportunity, this is what I want to do. You see bad things and you say, when I get my opportunity, I'm not going to do that. So those experiences of what molded me, what I've been today, what I am today. And there's been bad experiences. There's things that I've done that I would do differently. But I've learned from those things and in turn put me in this position, I think, to have some success here.
I'm interested in what you expected in the hiring process and what you didn't expect in getting hired at SWOSU.
The only thing that I really didn't expect is, I think Coach said it, but he undermined the fact that it happened really fast. I'm spending 15, 18 hours a day, 7 days a week preparing for it. We play Saturday. They want me to come in Monday and do an interview. So I had to give my team that I was at Missouri Western its utmost, due diligence to do everything we can to prepare to win that game, and then come pursue a job that I've waited most of my adult life to do. So that was, I don't want to say it was overwhelming, it was exciting, and I was excited about that. And then I had to go recruiting in Southern California from here, so it was kind of a whirlwind because you want to put your best foot forward, not only where you are, but where you want to get to. So that happened really fast. And then after that, it would, they offered me a job later that next week or that Friday or somewhere in that area. And I mean, it just happened really fast. And then the good thing about that, and I have to say this, and I can't really talk specifics because we're still working out some details and stuff, but every person I called to come with me said yes. They didn't say, well, I need to check, I need to talk to my boss, I need to check with my family. They said yes. I have to talk to this and get this handled. So that part was really good. We're working on getting them all here now and getting that finished, but that part was good. So.
How'd that Saturday game work out?
Not real good. We played the #1 defense in Division II at that point, and with
It turned out great for us.
backup quarterback and third-string running back, but it was okay. Our kids played hard. I do have to say this: I'm very grateful for Matt Williamson, the head coach of Missouri Western. He's doing things the right way, and I was the happiest 4-7 coach in the country because our kids bought into Missouri Western, and I'm very proud of what he's doing there and what I was a part of. And you're going to see that program grow, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity that Matt gave me to help me get this job. So.
Kind of mentioned your staff there. Is it pretty much filled out at this point, or what are you looking at?
Yeah, pretty much. We've got to finalize some things, just make sure, we're talking to everybody that we need to, and everything's in place the way it has to be. And, don't want to say too much because guys are still finishing things up and trying to do things the right way. But, yeah, for the most part, yeah. And I'm really excited about the guys I've been talking to. I can't, as far as our philosophy and being good husbands and good fathers and good men, some of them are in that process. They're still young and they're not husbands yet, but I think you're going to find guys that are going to represent this university with, with a lot of pride and work their tails off to have success here. So I can't say enough about those guys. And you guys will see that shortly. So.
You mentioned the Arkansas schools being one of the reasons, but what are some other reasons that drew you to SWOSU and made you want to turn in that application?
I think it's a spot where I could realistically become a head football coach and have success. I mean, I'm not going to be the next head football coach at Alabama. I think we understand that. And I like the lure of we can win here, and that's why we're here. I'm not sure I could say that for a lot of schools. And then when I got here on campus, it just kind of reassured that, because sometimes you feel like all that stuff's in place, but there might be some dissension, whether it's among other staffs or the administration. I didn't get any feeling of that at all. I felt completely welcomed here. So the thought of, I think we can win there, and then when you step into a place and it's welcoming and you didn't feel like there was a bunch of egos, like I said, when I met with the other head coaches, all the other I had that same feeling, like we're all in this together, we're going to pull for each other. And I think when you combine that with the conference and with the area, it just, for me, it was a recipe for success. So all that put together excited me.
Coach, is there anything specific you hope to accomplish in your first year?
Win as many games as possible. We want to put a good product out there. We're still in the process of evaluation what we have here and the kids that are coming back. But we want to make sure no matter what happens with the wins and losses, that our kids are bought into what we're trying to do. Those kids need to be physically tough, they need to be mentally tough, and they need to love to play the game of football. The more that we have, the better our success. But we're not going to sacrifice that. We won't sacrifice those two things. And we won't sacrifice effort and toughness. So if we have 70 of those kids, we're going to have a lot of success. But I don't know that this to identify that. And I want to go back to Missouri Western. We didn't sacrifice it there. It didn't show in the win column, but it's going to. So the same thing will take place here. And we're going to get kids that are bought in, that are all in, that buy into the system, and play with those kids. And if they don't, then they're going to have a tough time playing here. So I don't know how many we have at this point. So, yeah.
As far as offense, defensive styles, do you have something in your head as far as what your base formations are going to be on each side of the ball?
Yes. Yes. I do.
Do you care, is it 4-man, 3-man defense?
We'll be based primarily off the odd front on defense. You know, one thing that I talked about when having the staff is that's what I want to see. I want us to play odd front because it creates a lot of problems. So I had 3 stipulations. It was play odd front, stop the run, and figure out how to stop Harding in the triple option. So that's things that we and then offense, I mean, will be as multiple as you could possibly imagine. You know, that's my philosophy. You hear the term jack of all trades, master of none. Well, we're gonna be right on that line right there. We're gonna try to be a master of as many things as we can. We'll base our offense off our quarterback. So if he can run, we're gonna run him. If he can throw it, we're gonna throw it. So I mean, at this level, you have to develop your offense around the quarterback instead of try to get a quarterback to fit into your offense. So different at different levels, but so we could be different offensively by the quarterback that's in the game at the present time. So.
To a national championship at Delta State. How big will that factor into talking to guys who obviously are coming to play D2 ball and you know what it takes to get there?
It's amazing, and I'm trying not to give you the long version, but my father had a sign in the weight room when I was in high school. It said, our goal is to be the #1 team in the state. And my senior year, we played for the state championship, and it never was real until it was real. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think my job is to explain to them how easy it is. And I know but you have to show up on time, you have to work hard, I mean, but it's literally doing those things repeatedly over and over again, and those things are attainable. You know, people don't realize that, and that goes back to holding kids accountable, and you hold them accountable, and then they're good fathers, good, same thing, but it's really attainable if they just buy in and do what we're asking them to do. So, and that was fun to see, and we should have won the game too, by the way. But it's another story.
Are there specific areas you like to recruit in? JUCO level players? Is it just kind of?
No, I mean, we would like to sign as many high school kids as we possibly can. And then what we don't, where we can't fill spots immediately, that can have immediate impact, we'll maybe sign a few JC kids, but only to fill in spots. And usually those spots are, you know, with injuries, and you will miss on a kid here or there. And then I don't like to rely on freshmen to play for you. I mean, it's not 100%. Usually every true freshman that you're starting is usually equivalent to a loss. So try to avoid those situations. So if we had a situation where the spot was to be filled with a freshman, we maybe try to fill that with a junior college player. I've had a background with junior college players, and I've had a tremendous amount of success. I've had probably a 98% success rate, but not because of I vet those kids. I mean, they've been players, they've been good citizens, they've graduated. So I pride myself in when we do take those kids, if they buy in. So that's important to me, and I tell them from the very beginning. So I don't know if that answered you specifically, but we like to find as many high school kids as we can and then fill in spots. Anything else?
Go ahead and wrap it up.
All right, well, I'm excited about the opportunity. I promise you one thing, when you come to practice, you will see a bunch of crazy coaches getting after it and being extremely excited, because that is a requirement for me. I ask of myself, and I'll ask of my assistants. And go Dogs.